Welcome to Woodbridge, the best town around. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of this great town, and we're here today at the fantastic Woodbridge Elks to accept a couple of checks for community events and projects in Woodbridge Township. We're going to start with the We Feed Woodbridge. As everybody knows, we do this between January 1st and February 14th because everybody pays attention in November and December and Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holidays, and all food's on everybody's mind. But then in the dark days of winter, people kind of forget. So we started this way back in 1992. Peter Barcelona, who runs the We Feed Woodbridge and who's very active down here, is he a member too? No. He's been here a million times, I know. He couldn't be here today to accept the check for We Feed Woodbridge, but we want to thank him for his effort. And I have Karen Imperatrice here, who is the Grand Exalted Ruler of Woodbridge Elks Lodge 2116. Paula Cupcho, who was the chairwoman of these events here. Peggy Foley from St. James Food Pantry, and Councilman Brian Small, former president last year. And let me start with you, Karen. I'll hold the things, you can talk. Take the microphone, I'll hold the check. We can take the check now for a minute. All right, so tell me how long you've been doing this, why you're doing it, give me all the history.
We started with the food bank when COVID hit, and right after that we realized we wanted to do something for the community, so we formed our first food drive. I believe it was in May of 2020, and it was a really great success. So we figured we would continue and help the community, support them with the food bank. All our members are great supporters of our township, and we look forward to doing this again in the future.
All right, great. Paula, tell me about your involvement.
So I'm the chairperson of Elks National Foundation, which is the charity arm of the Elks, and I applied for grants for the food bank to help relieve the food needs of the township. And I was lucky enough to get $4,500 for the food bank and $3,500 for the domestic violence response team.
Okay, we're getting to them next, so don't go anywhere, Walter. Peggy Foley now runs the bank. Tell me, Peter always talks about there were 600 families before the pandemic, now there's 1,400 families. I would imagine you've experienced that increase. Tell me about it.
All right, prior to COVID, we averaged about 120 families a month that we gave food to just at the St. James Food Pantry, which is only one of 11 pantries here in town. At the height of COVID, it was something like 190 families a month. And we have, it runs the gamut of people in their 90s right down to infants. And as Mayor McCormick said, quite often at this time of year, people aren't aware that the food pantries need food. I will say this, during COVID, the donations have been steady and we've gotten a lot of support, but it's because of the community and groups like the Elks. So, yeah, thank you all very much.
Councilman Small, tell me, you're a member of the Elks yourself. Tell me about the project, the Elks in general. You know they got the first key to this city, yeah.
Yes.
As an entity, as an organization last year, the first ever key to the township.
I just want to thank the Elks for all they do for our community. I am a member down here. I'd love to be much more involved. Someday I will be, but they're always doing something for this community, and we appreciate, as a council, everything they do.
Great. And Karen, that was, I guess when you go back and figure your 2 years as the Exalted Ruler, being here for the key to the township, you were surprised?
I certainly was.
I didn't tell you.
No.
I didn't tell you.
No,
I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell Councilwoman Drum, who was with me that time too, who didn't know about it. Just I knew about it. That was really cool. I mean, it was such a thrill to be able to do that for the Elks, because I'm a member here since I think around '06 or maybe even earlier. I'm not active as I'd like to be. I come to events as mayor, but I'm not as active as I'd like to be. Like Brian said, we kind of have these other part-time jobs, you know, getting involved running the government. But it's so cool to see everything that you do as an organization, and you're almost 2 years now. You're a month and a half away from the end of your 2 years.
Yes.
You've been terrific. Just tell me what it's like.
It's a great experience. I mean, you have to have great officers to work with you and behind you and back you up, and the members, everything that we've been through, and you recommend for something, the members and the officers are always right there supporting us, and it was a great 2 years, and I wanted to thank everybody, and I look forward to helping even not as being an officer.
Give me a quick commercial. This is domestic violence. This is We Feed Woodbridge. I know you do a lot with special needs kids. I know you do a lot with veterans. You open up your hall to a lot of different groups. between the two of you, give me a quick commercial and everything he else does.
Okay.
Somebody give her some ideas. Go ahead.
Should I give him my speech? Yeah, this is the organization that you are associated with is a charity that happens to have a really great fraternal group. We're not a bar that happens to do charity work. The most focus of ours is the charity that we do. Veterans, special children, the children, scholarships, hoop shoot, soccer shoot. We're all over the township.
Exactly. That's why you got the first key. And you're not a organization. You are a charitable organization that happens to have a bar.
Yes.
You'd rather call it that way.
Yes.
And the bar's fun, and the meetings are fun, and we have so many events here. I won't talk about last night's event or Friday night's event, but it's just fun. It's just great to be here.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
share these things with you. Let me bring up Walter Pearson. Where's Walter? And Kathy Stamato.
Yes.
We'll swap out, if you don't mind, we'll swap out Peggy, or you can get between Peggy and Paula. Walter runs the domestic violence response team in town. This is another organization that does great work. They're all volunteers, but you can't just say, I'm going to be a domestic violence person, a counselor. You have to take 40 hours?
counselors, 40.
Not counselors, bad word. Consultants, advocates. You're right, I always forget that. But 40 hours of training?
40 hours of training, and then training every year. We do additional training just to keep up to date with the changes in the laws, the changes in the resources that we have available to us. We're dedicated people. There's nothing in the world like a volunteer. These are people who are willing to give.
12 hours over day.
So yeah, so it's 12-hour shifts. You've got to stay home. You've got to be ready in case that call comes in.
Absolutely. Yeah, it could be 2 o'clock in the morning, could be 6 o'clock when you're sitting down at dinner.
Could be Christmas morning.
Could be Christmas morning,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely. And you go down, you help the victim down at the police station, but we're doing a lot more than that over the past few years. We're trying to get out into the community, we're trying to get into the schools, and we have been. Because of COVID the last couple of years, we haven't been able to do the educational programs that we would like to, but we will continue to do that. We use third-party theater people to come in and talk about bullying, talking about dating violence and things of that nature, which, and
Why
February.
don't you just take the mic,
Yeah,
Kathy?
here we go, Kat. Actually, February is Dating Violence Awareness Month. We have a display in the mall. We're going to be up at the community center. We were down in Perth Amboy yesterday, down at the train station. We're trying to get out there as much as possible. Because of the donations that we've received from the township, okay, we're able to help people more than just down at the train station. We're able to provide them with furnishings if they're, we're working towards getting housing for them. And I have to.
Don't stop that. Don't jump over that. That's big. Expand on that, because
Oh,
we're
absolutely.
working with you on some of the projects that have to have a certain amount of the apartments that they're building have to be affordable. And we got one in mind. We can't go that far yet and say who, but they're working on making each of their affordable units specifically for DV victims.
Absolutely.
That's because of you guys.
Well, no, it's actually because of yourself, okay? We came to you, and your generosity and your kindness and thoughtfulness is what makes this work, okay? We can't do this alone. There's about 20 of us, but we rely on the community, we rely on the mayor's office, we rely on the town council, and obviously on the police department as well, okay? If I can just say one word about the police department, we lost 2 officers in New York a couple of weeks ago on a domestic violence call. For police officers, it is absolutely the most dangerous call for them to go out on. Okay, so my heart goes out to the police officers anytime that they have to deal with domestic violence. Okay, the donation that you're giving us here today, which is part of the charity, which is what the Elks are all about, is going to go towards furnishing an apartment for a young woman with 4 children, okay, who had to leave with just the clothes on her back, okay, and clothes, on her children's back. So that's where this money goes to, okay? We never give out cash. What we do is we purchase the things for the individuals, and we're going to continue to do that. And again, because of the generosity and because of the tightness of this community, we are the best domestic violence response team in Middlesex County and perhaps in the whole state of New Jersey.
Great, and I like to always point out that Woodbridge has the highest per capita domestic violence cases in the county. Now, do you think we have, I should say reported cases, do you think we have any reason to have the most cases? No. We have the most reported cases. That's because these people are so accessible and so visible and out at every parade and out at things like this and getting in the community, so people feel very comfortable, particularly women, feel very, very comfortable in Woodbridge Township going to see the police department and reporting it, not waiting for an act to happen to have it reported, but they're comfortable because of the job you do publicizing what you do. And that's just remarkable. Everybody looks at us and says, wow, what a town, Woodbridge, the most domestic violence case. No, we're not any different. We just have you guys that people are comfortable reporting. So how do you feel helping a group like this, Karen?
Fantastic.
You're tearing up a little bit there. I'm watching you. You're tearing up a little bit.
It's just wonderful. I mean, I feel so sorry for these families, these young women. It's anything we can do, we're here to help.
All right, give me a quick commercial for the Elks. How does somebody go about getting involved and learning how to join?
Just come into the Colonial Room one night, see all the fun that we have, come to one of our fundraisers or one of our events, and we've got a great bunch of people here. Just fill out an application, come in, join, and we'll welcome you with open arms.
732-634-2116?
Yes.
And what's the website?
There's also on the website, go to elks.org.
Okay.
And put in Woodbridge Township and our lodge will come up.
Okay, your turn. How does somebody go about getting involved in becoming perhaps an advocate?
We do training once a year. We train not only for the advocates in Woodbridge, but also throughout Middlesex County. What they need to do is go on to our website, which is woodbridgetownshipdvrt.org. Fill out an application. They're vetted through the police department. They go through a rigorous vetting through the police department so that we know who we're dealing with, and then come to the training.
All right.
Okay?
Let me go back to Councilman Small, who is retired Woodbridge Police Department. You talked about the food drive. Now, give me your thoughts on the DVRT. You witnessed it. You probably referred them. You probably went on calls. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, going back, the police department was predominantly male. Our victims are predominantly female. It was really hard for them to open up, So when the DV team was started, it enabled people to come forward and be more comfortable, because some people are embarrassed. They're embarrassed. They don't want to admit this. It's your husband, it's your wife, it's your boyfriend. It's a tough situation, but the team is just fantastic. Aside from, working on the restraining orders for the victims, all the community stuff that they're doing now. And I know how much this means to you. You talk about it all the time. So just a great backup for the police department, to have them, and they do a great job.
Okay, folks, thanks for watching two of the best groups in Woodbridge Township, the Woodbridge Elks Lodge 2116 and the Woodbridge Domestic Violence Response Team, both here today helping people in our community. In this case, the Elks helping the team, as well as We Feed Woodbridge. What a wonderful day. Thank you.